introduce our next speaker. And that's about it.
Hi, folks. We have with us today the United Postal Workers Union, one of the brave unions to come out and support Bernie early. And what's this revolution about is about voting. You're voting 16, you're voting 18, you're voting 20. Game, set, and match. I'd like to thank Chuck Pugar. He's the president of the United Postal Worker in Pittsburgh. And Mike Gallagher, he could have been in New York today, Philadelphia, Boston. He decided to come to Pittsburgh. Mike Gallagher, Eastern Regional Coordinator.
Yeah, of course. Good afternoon, Pittsburgh! You feel the burn? You're damn right you do! It's time, brothers and sisters. It's our time. My name's Mike Gallagher. I work for the American Postal Workers Union, and I am proud to say that our National Executive Board, which I sit on, has voted to endorse Bernie Sanders for President of the United States. And there's a lot of good reasons for that, brothers and sisters, and most of them have been well articulated by Bernie. Let me just tell you briefly about our struggle, and then I'll get back to talking to you about America in general and what Bernie's going to do for America. We as postal workers have been faced with the problem that postal management has says, well, we have shortfalls because Congress has passed a law that requires us to pre-fund our health benefits 75 years in the future in 10 short years. The Postal Service runs at an extreme deficit because of that law, and we've been asking every congressional person to change that law. You know who has led that struggle for us, brothers and sisters? Bernie! 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 He is the real deal, and because the Postal Service is suffering because of that congressional mandate, their bright idea is to save money by closing post offices. By changing what we call service standards to slow down your mail delivery to the next day or the next day after that, and that way they can close processing centers and consolidate them, and guess what? They can then shed workers at an extreme rate, getting rid of good union-paying jobs. That's exactly right. And who's in the forefront? Once again, it's Bernie. Bernie was one of the few senators that stood up in his state and saved White River Junction, Vermont processing plant for closing. No one else did it, just Bernie. Everybody else got theirs closed. So we're on the side of Bernie completely, but I have to tell you, we're currently undergoing a struggle to achieve a new national agreement. And our national collective bargaining agreement, the United States Postal Service is arguing what they call comparability. They're saying postal workers should make the same rate that any other worker in perhaps retail industry or other that's comparable. So let's compare postal workers that are in a unionized industry to Walmart workers. They should be making that wage. And of course we argue we're supposed to have meaningful careers. We're not supposed to be minimum wage associates where that is the race to the bottom that Bernie is fighting against. Let me just give you a couple brief facts that you just tell me if this is right or wrong in the United States of America today. 42% of Americans work for less than $15 an hour. 50% of them are African Americans, 60% are Latinos. 72% of welfare costs go to working families. Think about that. 72% of welfare go to people that already have a job. That's wrong because our corporations are not paying our people properly. Just think about that. These people are collecting monies that you are paying as taxpayers. So you're paying their benefit package, not the Walmarts, the Amazons, the Staples. It's time to change this corporate greed that is starving the workers. America's wealth grew 60% in the last 6 years, more than $30 trillion. And guess what? During that same period, the number of homeless children went up 60%. Is that right or wrong? That is so wrong, brothers and sisters, so wrong. Let me just give you a couple more facts. Over half of public school students are poor enough to qualify for lunch subsidies. Nearly half of all food stamp recipients are children. $153 billion in taxpayer money was paid to people to subsidize their income. It's just wrong that we're being taxed in order to pay the government so that government can pay people that are already working because corporations are ripping them off. And when we talk about corporate ripoffs, remember, the manufacturing base in the United States, including steel here in Pittsburgh, has disappeared. Where did it go? To other countries. Why? Because of laws like NAFTA, CAFTA, that ship our jobs overseas. The jobs that remain, that jobs that remain, by 2020, 60% of the jobs will be those very retail jobs, working at McDonald's, working in Walmart or Staples. Those same people, your taxes are going to go up to offset these people's lack of wages, their poverty level wages. So just think about it. We need to change the laws in America, and guess who's in the forefront? You're damn right he is. He's the first one that came out against the Trans-Pacific Partnership. And guess what? He's changing the demographics of the Democratic Party. Because Hillary was against it. Now she's for it. She was for it, now she's against it. She flip-flopped, that is right. Why did she flip-flop? Because Bernie is making the pendulum swing the other way for the Democratic Party, and it's doing it for the right reasons. Burn it, burn it, burn it, burn it, burn it, burn it, burn it. If this political revolution works like we want it to, brothers and sisters, we will have the most democratic, most pro-worker president that the United States has ever seen. Not only will he mobilize people in this election, he also will mobilize the American labor force. He will also fight for jobs, for justice. I mean, it really is bringing us up collectively. It's floating all boats. All the workers of America. Look at the young people in this crowd. The future of America is here. I'll tell you, for years, I'm getting a little long in the tooth, and I've voted in every election since I was it 18? Yeah, 18. And guess what? It's always a choice between the lesser of two evils. There's hardly anybody that I've ever voted for that I thought, that person really shares my interests and my concerns. It's usually, this person's terrible, so I'll vote for this person who's not that terrible. And that's the wrong way to go. This is the first candidate I've ever seen that, I love this guy! Burn it! 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 Let me sum it up like this. On Bernie's website, BernieSanders.com, it says, we're building a movement with millions of Americans to take on a corrupt political system that holds in place a rigged economy. And that's exactly what we're railing against, brothers and sisters. That's exactly what we don't want in America. We want to change the corrupt finance system where billionaires buy election. Hell, one billionaire's saying, I'm funding my own election. And guess what? He's going to make America great. He's going to make it great by continuing minimum wage jobs. He's all for the minimum wage. He's a free trader. He's all for Trans-Pacific Partnership. I mean, give me a break. There's only one person that's going to make America great, and that's Bernie Sanders. Thank you, brothers and sisters. Give me one more. Bernie! 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 Get out there and vote, brothers and sisters. Thank you.